Hi folks, this is CNB. I'm Siddharth Vinayak Partner. Thank you for joining us. On this episode, we've got a whole lot of excitement for you, but that's what we do, right? Now, all the three big Germans are on the program today. And no, I'm not just talking about the affiliation that Mini has with BMW. We'll get to BMW in just a bit, but first up, let's start talking about the all-new Mercedes-Benz E63 AMG that's just driven into the market. You got a few glimpses of it from me online, but now we're going to jump straight into it, go across to the Bodh International Circuit to bring you our review. The charge of the super sports car is somewhat muted in India, but cars like this are certainly all over the place. Be it the supercharged Jags, the Growly Beamers, or yes, the monsters from the AMG stable from Mercedes-Benz. The E63 AMG is the new updated avatar of the E-Class on steroids. The looks scream aggression, and the new facelifted E-Class family is sure a whole lot edgier than the original car, complete with the A-Wing style signature AMG front grille. Sharp angular lines along the side and an ostentatious face, enhanced by the new LED headlamp cluster, make the E63 AMG a head-turner for sure. I especially like the treatment in the side air intakes. The rear styling is a bit drab, but then you do get the added embellishments, don't you? A hint of a spoiler in the boot lid and the nasty-looking twin exhaust. The E63 AMG will be a very pricey offering at well over ₹1 crore, but it's a good flagship for the range from Mercedes-Benz. The car sports a very potent power plant. The bi-turbo V8 is a monster, and you get power of over 550 horses. Top speed is electronically regulated at 250 km/h. The 7-speed sports transmission is also quick and allows you to anticipate a good response, meaning no second thoughts when pushing the car. When you think of a sports sedan like this one, the focus isn't so much on the racing aspect as it is on feeling like you've got the performance when you might need it. Because, you know, most users aren't going to really drive these cars on a track, are they? Most of the buyers are going to just want to know that they have that power under the hood, and which is why it helps, or in fact I should say there's a pressure on the R&D guys to make sure that you have an engine that also sounds fantastic. So you've got to have that very sonorous, melodious, almost sweet musical note to the engine, and that part of it is what perhaps attracts a lot of these buyers. Now today, in terms of conditions here on the track, we've had to deal with rain, a little bit of sun coming out every now and then, so not the best conditions to be on a track, I can tell you. The good news is though that this is the BIC, we know it pretty well, so there's nothing sort of to surprise you that comes at you really, so you can actually focus your attention almost entirely on the car. Of course, big news about the BIC is that there won't be a Formula 1 race here in 2014. But for us, it is still wonderful to have a world-class track to test such cars on, right here in our backyard. The E63 is a powerful sedan. It hugs the curves reasonably well, and its on-track mannerisms are strong. But you still walk away with a definite sense of this being a sedan and not a sports car. Having said that, I like the suspension tuning on this package, and the choice of 18-inch wheels works better too. The sports steering system is very precise and easy to get used to. It's very comfort oriented and yet delivers on the performance parameters. The car is luxurious on the inside, as you would expect for 1 crore 30 lakh rupees. The all-black look is sexy, and the leather AMG sports seats with dynamic restraints and electric side support are very cool. The steering has the bottom flattened out for a sporty appeal. The car comes with active parking assist, a collision prevention system and a very sweet 14-speaker Bang & Olufsen music system. Always nice to spend some time on the track, especially when you have a nice powerful car, but is it really relevant? Well, of course not. Even Mercedes-Benz and indeed everybody in the luxury space knows that a car like this is more for bragging rights, more to be able to say that, hey, hang on, we're offering our entire portfolio, souped up cars included, to the Indian buyer. But when it comes to that select number of buyers who will actually go ahead and look at this car, what are the rivals? Well, you've had the rivals for some time. Even the previous E-Class before the facelift, you did have the powerful version, and you've had the BMW M5 in the market for some time now, RCNB Performance Car of the Year in 2013 as well. But there's another rival that's just driven in literally a few days ago, and we have it with us here on the program as well. The S6, which is the more powerful avatar of the A6 from Audi, dead-on rival, and indeed trying to get the same kind of attention here in the Indian market when it comes to not just the buyer, but also making that noise, making sense of the fact that Audi too is trying to say that, look, we're offering an end-to-end portfolio. Yep, we decided it wasn't going to be hot enough to simply throw one sexy sports sedan at you, so we brought in another one. The Audi S6 is almost a direct rival to the Mercedes-Benz E63 AMG. The S6 was launched globally as the 2013 model line. It basically followed the global release of the third generation Audi A6 on which it is based. That happened a year earlier. The first impression you instantly get is that the E63 is way more aggressive and ready for action, while the S6 is more stately and poised. One's the beauty queen and the other one's the beautiful beast then. The S6 has road presence. It's ample in size, catches your eye, and even though the LED headlamp cluster is still not standard, unlike the A6, the bi-xenons are. At first glance though, it doesn't look instantly different from an A6. But let's push it to find out if it can deliver the goods on the road. Out on the open road, the first impression is that this car does deliver. It's certainly no regular sedan. It's got the power and the performance one would seek. Now that comes courtesy a nice juicy V8 engine, but therein lies the twist, which I'll come to in a second. The transmission is also well mated to the engine and complements the package. So the twist, the V8 can also operate as a V4. In that it has cylinder deactivation technology, which means that you can switch to eco mode. 4 of the car's 8 cylinders shut down. This is ideal for daily driving and city traffic when you can guzzle less fuel and do your bit for the environment. And I have to say that even in performance mode, with all 8 cylinders, the manners of the S6 are still sedan-like. Very quick and alert and fun too, but not entirely sports car-like as its predecessor. Which from the buyer's perspective may not be such a bad thing. And let's be fair, the true BMW M5 and Mercedes E63 AMG rival was always the RS6, not the S6. But that model line stands discontinued. The car also has active noise reduction technology, which means that if the car senses that the cabin is getting more noise than what's ideal from the outside, it actively generates sound waves which push incoming noise away. Wow. So then this is not an extreme car. Nope, it is very much though a performance sedan. You're not moving too far away from that sedan tag on this car in terms of just the drive feel. What is nice though is that you get the usual Audi trappings, which are usually considered sort of high-end or optional. All of that is pretty much standard here, whether it's the Drive Select or even Quattro. The big USP on the car though is the handling, and the car is not one to stray. It keeps its line wonderfully well. Now before you say I'm comparing apples to oranges, we did get the S6 out on the track at the Buth circuit too, just to ensure that we push it and check its cornering, acceleration and braking capabilities. Now I have to say I am biased. This color is working very well on the S6, isn't it? So not really packing as much of a punch on the performance side as you might expect, especially when you compare to other Audis like the RS5. This one is more about saying that, alright, we're taking the A6 and we're giving it a bit of a booster shot. that does come through. It doesn't have a completely different character like you've seen in the case of the Mercedes E63 AMG. Now, the buyer in this segment probably wouldn't care too much about that because, let's face it, the idea is to also make a statement. So the car needs to also look really pretty. That, I think, the S6 does achieve. At first glance, you may not really know, hang on, is this a different car than the A6? But you look closely and you see a little combination grille here done in slightly sporty grey and chrome. The S6 badging up front as well, and a slightly wider, sportier air intake down here in the bumper as well. So yes, visually that's what tells you that this is a little bit different. Of course, along the side you also see this, the S6 or the S-line package, which means that you get this dull metal on the rear view mirrors. The rest of the car not too embellished in terms of throwing in too many sporty side skirts or anything like that. You do get a nice, smart, sporty alloy pattern though. And as you come around to the back, again, very similar to the regular A6 sedan. But yes, you do pick up a little hint here because you see that you've got these quad tailpipes and again, the same sort of a finish that you've seen in the front grille as well. So a little bit of a sporty element, but otherwise still maintaining a nice stately saloon appearance. The S6 badging at the back, once again telling you that yes, this car is a little bit different. So its technology packed is high on the fun quotient. What about its interiors? Well, there are lots of reminders that this is the S6 with badging thrown about everywhere. The typical S-line treatment means you have an Alcantara wrapped steering wheel, brushed aluminium inserts on the dash and console, plus carbon fiber finish paneling like on the E63. Sports pedals, auto everything, top-end Bose sound system and very comfortable seating. And all of this sets you back just over 86 lakh rupees. So what does it really come down to? You know what? I'm going to make a superhero comparison so that perhaps I can explain it better. The E63 AMG is like the Wolverine. This car, a little bit like Spider-Man, still gets the job done perhaps, but definitely a little bit more urban, a little better looking and, you know, pretty overall. And the point really is just this, that if you want a car that has really extreme performance, then it's got to be the E63 AMG. But how many buyers in India do what buyers in Germany do, which is take their car out very often on the Autobahn? How many buyers do what buyers in the United States do, which is drive across 2 states, maybe 200, 300 miles, more than once a week? We don't really have that sort of a buyer here. Performance may be important, but buyers here don't necessarily want to tear up the tarmac, but they want to make a statement, all right. This car is a good blend of both of those things. It has a powerful engine, and yes, it makes a statement, definitely. So why would you spend an extra, well, nearly 45 lakh rupees to get something like the E63? It's definitely better on performance, more extreme. The BMW M5, similar sort of a credential there. But both those cars priced well over 1 crore rupees. This one, definitely more practical, if you can really use the word practical in this segment at all. It was never a very fair comparison. As I'd already said, the true rival to the E63 would have been an Audi RS6. But with that car gone, the buyer will really measure things in a more practical, need-based way. So a flagship power-packed monster or a sedan which sheds its stately skin and lets you have some fun once in a while. Most would happily pick the latter and keep the extra 40-something lakh rupees, or just buy another car for the family maybe. So 2 really hot cars, how did you like them? I also want to know from you if you think they're really relevant for our market or they're just really niche, eye candy and nothing more than that. You know how to get in touch with me at Sid Parthankar on Twitter, or go ahead and use our NDTV app and use the second screen to express your opinion. Time for a short break here on CNB. We come back with that third German on the other side of the break and our sector snapshot as we slip into it. Welcome back to CNB. Quick questions from our NDTV app second screen. The first one, in fact, you know what, both these questions are sort of linked to each other, so let me read them both out to you. Mukesh is asking, what's a better car, the Volkswagen Vento or the Skoda Rapid? And Satyajit wants to buy a car in the 10 lakh rupee range. He's, of course, very keen to stay in that budget, is looking at good looks, easy maintenance and high mileage. Isn't everybody, Satyajit? Well, you know what? The reason why those two questions are linked is because the Skoda Rapid actually ends up being really good value in that segment. But if you look at it overall in terms of after-sales costs and, of course, the cost of running the car as well after you've bought it, the Hyundai Verna is the strongest car there right now, and indeed the segment bestseller as well. As far as the two cars, the Vento and the Rapid are concerned, remember they're mechanically identical cars. There's really very little to separate the two, except that right now, with the market down, you have to try and get a good deal because both those dealers will probably want to try and go out of their way to attract you as a customer, Mukesh. So I would say pit the two dealers against each other and see which one works out as a better deal, because mechanically, they're both pretty identical. Right, so if you want to post your questions onto the second screen on the NDTV app, download the app and go ahead and do that. I will take a look at your questions there as well. Moving on now to that third German, BMW has finally launched, and we are talking about a market launch of the first product from the BMWi brand. This is the i3, lots of anticipation around it. It was a massive launch, held in 3 cities across the world simultaneously. Let's take a look.
Born electric and launched across 3 continents, the much-awaited all-electric BMW i3 is finally powered up to hit the roads. Unveiled simultaneously across New York, London and Beijing, BMW clearly signalled its global intentions for its first electric series-produced model under the i sub-brand. After showcasing the i3 concept first in 2011, BMW has invested more than €1 billion to internally develop the i3's vehicle concept and drive system. BMW is positioning the i3 as a megacity vehicle or MCV meant for urban driving conditions with higher driving range and lightweight construction.
It's really revolutionary, but what is behind the car? I mean, 2 parts, a drive part and the passenger cell. The passenger cell is lightweight construction, and we used carbon fiber as the material. And if you see the chassis of the car, it's made of aluminum. That means both materials are very good if your target is to make a lightweight construction car. Why is it so important to have a lightweight construction? I mean, electric vehicles, you need range. And as I said, if you use lightweight construction, your range will be better.
Keeping the i3 light and agile is the carbon fiber inner body and a chassis made of aluminium. Many see this as a major breakthrough, especially for mainstream carbon fiber production to help weight reduction for electric cars. With a curb weight of 1,195 kilograms, it is lighter than most vehicles in the compact segment, yet it offers significantly more space for up to 4 occupants. The BMW i3's electric drivetrain generates an output of 170 HP and a peak torque of 250 Nm. This is no slow coach as it sprints from 0 to 100 km an hour in 7.2 seconds with a top speed limited to 150 km per hour for efficiency. What is also impressive is the driving range of 130 to 160 kilometers on a single charge, which can be extended from a small petrol engine to a maximum of around 300 kilometers. BMW also offers an i3 range extender model. This has a 650cc petrol engine which acts as a generator for the batteries to run an additional driving range of 40 to 60 kilometers.
If you build such a car and if you develop such a car, you have to look into the future, let me say 10, 15, 20 years. And especially if you look around the world and you see the emission regulations in the United States, in the European Union, even in China, then cars like the BMW i3 are a must.
Sadly, the launch plan for the i3 doesn't include India, at least for now, and it will first be released in Germany and other European markets in November 2013. BMW has priced the car at 40,000 euros in Germany. Other markets like the US, China and Japan will get the i3 in the first half of 2014. But what India is likely to see sooner than later is the BMW i8 hybrid sports car, the second model under the i range of electric vehicles.
It's pretty much a wrap on the program this week. React to what you've seen. Any questions you may have, you know how you can do that now on the app, the NDTV app. Get onto the second screen, or of course use Facebook, Twitter. All those ways are available to you. Now, I've had the chance to take a look at the car that's coming in globally to replace the i10. In India, it will sit between the i10 and the i20 from Hyundai. It looks interesting. It will be in diesel and petrol. We'll have some details for you, our first impression, if you will, on the program next week. Until then, please wear your seatbelts. Please wear your helmets if you're on a two-wheeler. Bye-bye.